Yo, oh, it's your boy ClassicJayWin back with another video. I know what it is, what it does, what it look like. And today we reacted to the most evil teen in history, bro. I'm a teen myself, bro. I'm 17, bro. And this is the evil kind. You feel me? This is the mean evil kind, bro. He'll burn down your house and sing all that rockstar punk stuff. Like, yes sir, Rockstar Nation. Rockstar Nation. The devil and me, Rockstar Nation. Burning in hell, burning in hell, burning in hell. Rockstar Nation. He gonna be like that. You feel me? This the evil goth dude. I got some goth friends and all that, but he finna be burning in hell. I'm just playing.
This young man looks nothing out of the ordinary, right? Well, as we all know, you can't always judge a book by its cover. After an extensive history of antisocial and violent behavior, this young teen committed his first murder at the age of just 50.
Whoa!
Claiming the lives of his first victims were far from the worst things he did to their bodies. As authorities would soon find out, he not only killed, but brutally tortured his victims.
Rockstar!
Welcome back to Twisted Minds. My name is James, and today we will be looking at the case of Daniel Marsh. Daniel Marsh was born on the 14th of May, 1997, in the little town of Davis, California. There, he had a relatively normal childhood for the most part. William was hailed as a child hero at the age of 10 when he used CPR to save his father, who was having a heart attack. His heroic act made headlines in 2008 and even earned him an American Red Cross Heroes Award. Things took a downward turn later that year when his parents went through a brutal divorce due to his mother's extramarital affairs with his kindergarten teacher. This divorce marked the beginning of Marsh's homicidal tendencies, as he recalled having a strong desire to kill the women who caused his parents to break up. These thoughts got much worse, so much so that by age 11, young Marsh was already expressing the desire to torture and kill people other than his mother's new girlfriend. At this age, he was diagnosed with adjustment disorder and depression. To his parents, that was all it was, a depressed child having issues adjusting to his parents' divorce. But they were wrong. At 13 years old, Marsh began seeing a clinical social worker, Dr. David Bessa, because he was having temper outbursts, bad nightmares, and was generally just not liking other people. He was prescribed antidepressants to help control his mood and temper, but that did very little to curb his developing psychopathic tendencies. It wasn't long until young Marsh started using alcohol and marijuana, which only seemed to worsen his temper and intensify his twisted desires to kill anything with a pulse. His alcohol use got so bad that his father threw him out of his house at age 14, and when he moved in with his mother, his alcohol use gave way to anorexia. His eating disorder got so critical that he had to be admitted to the hospital for well over a month. For the next year or so, he was put on different medications, from antipsychotics to antidepressants. But it appears the drugs weren't doing much. In fact, his doctors reported that Marsh was having psychotic episodes almost daily, but for some reason, he was still released and allowed to go home. Marsh's violent thoughts and dreams of killing people only got worse, and by December of 2012, he told his school counselor about his burning desire to kill people. As a result, the police were involved, and Marsh was involuntarily committed to a mental facility because of the potential threat he posed to others and himself. He was put on another batch of antipsychotics, and by early 2013, he was re-released. But then again, in January of 2013, Marsh told his school psychologist of the reoccurring homicidal thoughts he was having, and this time they were directed at his classmates. During the conversation with Marsh, the psychologist asked if he would ever act on those thoughts, and he answered boldly, "I have full confidence that I could hurt these people." He went on to describe in detail how he really wanted to torture people by cutting out their eyes and peeling off their skin from the flesh. Marsh added that these thoughts only scratched the surface of the things he wanted to do to people. A police officer was brought in to assess the situation of Marsh's claims, but it was determined that Marsh posed no danger to himself or others because they believed there was no intent or intended victim. Marsh's homicidal tendencies and thoughts got more profound, to the point that when he looked at a person, all he could think about was the best way to kill them. He had dreams and often fantasized about school massacres, and his passion was really to become a serial killer. While other 14-year-olds were dreaming of getting through high school, Marsh was fantasizing about becoming a serial killer. He was reportedly obsessed with famous serial killers like Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer. Thinking about killing people is one thing, but Marsh got so bold that he even began telling his friends about how he would torture and kill random people if he could. At some point, he allegedly made a very detailed plan on how he would torture and kill his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. He would often draw violent and graphically detailed paintings in art class. Paintings that depict gruesome murder scenes with obscene details of the method of killing. Some of his friends recall him talking about how if he ever got round to killing anyone and was arrested, he would claim insanity. At the start of 2012, Marsh had found a way to feed his twisted fantasies by joining an online community called bestgore.com, a site that featured gore pornography in graphic details and real-life gory scenes and events. He then graduated from graphic, paintings, and online communities to starting fires and engaging in animal cruelty. Marsh was frequently seen brutally abusing animals. He went from strangling stray cats and raccoons to attempting to kill his friend's dog at some point. When asked why he did what he did, he would typically answer by saying he did it because he felt like it. The violent streak continued to escalate to the point where he was ready to perform these heinous acts on people. During his confession, Marsh revealed that after years of homicidal thoughts and fantasies, he had enough and decided that at age 15, he was going to live out his dreams and actually kill someone. Proving he was never an impulsive person, Marsh took his time in planning out the murders by making sure he wasn't going to be caught. He wore an all-black outfit, taped the bottom of his shoes to avoid leaving any footprints, and wore gloves to keep from leaving DNA or fingerprints. His weapon of choice was a 6-inch buck knife that he took from his mother's kitchen. Armed, Marsh crept out of his mother's apartment by 2 a.m. and began to search for a victim. According to his own confession, he checked more than 40 homes for an open window before finally spotting one at Northup and Matton's home, which was only 2 blocks from his father's house. Oliver Northup, 84, was a Navy veteran who graduated from UCLA and worked as an attorney till his gruesome death at the hands of Marsh. His wife, Claudia Mappin, 76, was a stage actress at the local theater as well as a pastoral assistant at the Davis Unitarian Church. The couple were married for 47 years and had 11 children, some of whom were from previous marriages. They also had 14 grandchildren and several great-grandchildren. Marsh gained entry into the old couple's home by slicing open the screen on the window and climbing into the house. He waited in the living room before hearing snores coming from the bedroom. Following the snore sounds, he made his way into the bedroom, where he found the old couple sleeping. For a few minutes, Marsh stood beside the bed watching the couple sleep, trying to decide from the number of ways he wanted to kill them. According to his confession, at that moment, standing over the couple's bed, he felt nervous but excited and exhilarated. Unfortunately, this was when Claudia woke up to see a strange boy in their bedroom, and she began screaming. Alarmed by her scream, Marsh started stabbing the 76-year-old woman in her torso multiple times as she screamed and begged him to stop. He would later reveal during his confession that her cries for him to stop only incentivized him to keep stabbing her. In his own words, he said, "The old lady just would not die," and that was when her husband, Oliver, woke up. Marsh proceeded to stab the 84-year-old man many times until he was confident the man was dead. He would later reveal that he didn't stop after the couple was dead, but continued to stab the lifeless bodies because it just felt right. Marsh inflicted 67 stab wounds all over Claudia's body, including several in her face, some of which knocked out her teeth. Oliver incurred 61 stab wounds, stretching from Oliver's head to his feet, including other cuts and slices. Marsh didn't stop after he murdered the couple. Apparently, death was not the end. Instead, he went on to mutilate their bodies even further. The 15-year-old cut open the deceased bodies of the couple to examine and experiment.
What?
He cut open Claudia's leg and torso, disemboweling her by pulling fat out of both areas. He also tried to cut out her eyes, but apparently that proved too difficult. He cut open Oliver, taking out his internal organs and cutting open his forehead out of sheer curiosity. He then placed a cell phone into Claudia's abdomen and a drinking glass in Oliver's torso. When asked during interrogation why he did this, he simply said it was to with the people who would later investigate the murders. After he finished up with the couple, Marsh wandered down the streets looking for more victims, but couldn't find any at the time. He kept souvenirs from the attack, like the knife he used in the killing of the couple and the bloody clothes he wore. He would later go out on different occasions in search of more victims, and this time he
But y'all gotta watch out, bro. People like
He
him.
revealed that his choice to change weapons was so that his subsequent murder wouldn't be connected to the stabbing of the old lady. Apparently, he had studied serial killers, and having an MO was always how they were caught. The morning following the attack on April 14th, Oliver and Claudia were absent from church service, which of course raised concerns with their family. Oliver's daughter Mary attempted to reach the couple by calling their cell phones, but to no avail. When Oliver failed to show up for a gig he had with his local folk band, his son Robert decided to visit the couple at home, but upon getting to the house, he left thinking the couple was out of town. In the end, it was Claudia's daughter Laura who went into the house, this time with police, to check out the situation later that evening. Upon searching around the house, Laura found the slash screen with the window open, and she could see bloodstains all over the house. The police made a forced entry only to discover the horrific scene of blood and guts spread all over the bedroom. The investigation sparked national interest, with over 25 FBI agents and numerous investigators crawling onto the small town to try and solve the gruesome murder. But seeing how careful Marsh was in not leaving any physical evidence like fingerprints or DNA behind, the investigation soon reached a dead end. But Marsh would eventually be arrested, only because he couldn't stop himself from bragging about the murders. In the days following the murder, Marsh bragged about the murder to his close friends at school and even told other students during lunch break. Of course, they didn't believe him, but that didn't seem to bother him. He later went on to explain to his girlfriend how he committed the murders in graphic detail and was visibly smiling as he did so. Marsh would later tell a close friend about the murders again, but this time showing his friend the items he used during the attack, like the knife, the gloves, and the bloody clothes, describing the attack as the best experience of his life. Marsh's friend and his girlfriend talked about his confession to the attacks, and after inquiring about the murders, found that it was shockingly true. Neither of them initially reported the crime because they were scared of it. They told Marsh's father about it, hoping he would do something about it, but he didn't believe them. Marsh's friend ended up reporting it to the police after Marsh told him he was planning another attack, and on June 17th, Marsh was arrested.
That's crazy, bro.
On the 17th of June 2013, Marsh was brought into the principal's office to be questioned by FBI Special Agent Chris Campion and Detective.
Bro, my bad for not talking a lot, bro. This is kind of
the
interesting.
Davis Police Department. At the start of the interrogation, Marsh initially denied any involvement in the murders, sobbing and begging the detectives to believe him. But after 3.5 hours of interrogation, he finally confessed, stating that night, I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to do it. I lost control. He explained in detail the entire crime. I went to their bedroom, I opened the door, then I just kind of stood there over their bed, watching them sleep for a few minutes. My body was trembling. I was nervous, but excited and exhilarated. I was actually gonna do it. I was there. It was finally happening. He further described how he mutilated the couple, stating, I cut open both of their torsos.
Dang, this is him. Look into my eyes. Blood bleeding down, crying every day. I don't wanna play. I'll kill your grandparents. I'll kill your grandparents. I'll kill your grandparents. I'll kill your grandparents. Look into my eye, blood bleeding down. Look at it again, smiling with your grin. I'll kill your grandparents. Let me stop, bro. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Here points to two areas.
Tell me the grandparents stop, bro.
And in the woman, I put a phone inside of her, and I put a cup inside the guy. During the interrogation, Marsh admitted that it was the best feeling in his life, stating it was pure happiness and adrenaline and dopamine, just all of it, rushing over me. I'm not gonna lie, it felt amazing. It was the most exhilarating, enjoyable feeling I've ever felt. He further explained that the positive feeling he felt while stabbing the couple was better than sex, and it lasted weeks after the attack. He told the detective, I don't feel sympathy for other people at all. Don't feel empathy for them. In a bid to see things from Marsh's perspective, Special Agent Campion asked Marsh how he would go about killing him, since he had thought about killing anyone he ever met. Marsh answered point blank without hesitation, just a lot of ways. Choking you to death with your tie, beating your face into the mirror until it broke, and using the glass to cut out your arteries, gouging your eyes out, and just smashing your face into the wall. Nothing personal. Without being asked, Marsh told detectives where he stashed the items he used in committing the murders and that he had kept them as souvenirs. Daniel William Marsh was convicted of 2 counts of premeditated murder and was sentenced to 52 years to life imprisonment. He tried to appeal by pleading insanity, but a jury found him sane and dismissed the appeal. However, the California State Legislature passed the Senate Bill 260 in 2013, which allowed juvenile offenders to seek parole after 20 or 25 years. This bill enabled Marsh to be eligible for parole after serving 25 years of his sentence. Another bill, Proposition 57, which was passed in 2016, allowed juvenile court judges to decide if minors would be tried as an adult or in a juvenile court. This law allowed for Marsh to appeal his case with the possibility of early release if a judge allowed it. The appeal was denied, and Marsh remained in the adult prison system to serve out his complete sentence. Marsh had another hope for early release when Governor Jerry Brown passed Senate Bill 1391 in 2018. The bill prevented minors under 16 from being tried or convicted as adults regardless of the nature of the crime. Marsh's attorney saw an opening and appealed that the new law should apply to him as well. The appeal was brought before a district court where, if granted, Marsh would be released upon turning 25 in 2022. The case was dragged out in court for almost 2 years before it was finally dismissed in September of 2021, and Marsh remained in prison to serve out his full sentence. Thanks for tuning in.
I was about to say, bro. This is crazy, bro. This is really crazy. Interesting and crazy. But y'all know it's time to wrap it up, pack it up, dap it up, crack it up. Until tomorrow, peace.